Hey, you all. Hope you're having a great Friday. I am coming in here today to talk to you about the next wave of healthcare. First, for those of you that are new, I wanted to introduce myself. So I'm Carrie Cootie. I am a pharmacist. I am a leader in doTERRA. I'm a wellness advocate, and I'm also the co-founder of The Natural Shift. And so one of those components makes me really excited to talk to you about it today, which is that I'm in the medical field. So, of course, I'm really excited about the healthcare initiative that doTERRA is forging forward. And I want to tell you just a little bit about sort of some of the background behind this and why all of these things that we talk about maybe here and there that you've heard, I want to kind of solidify in your mind why that really matters. Not just to me, but it should matter to you as well. And so I'm going to kind of go through some of these things just to kind of set up a story for you. And hopefully it'll solidify in your mind why all of these steps have to be in place to bring this movement forward. So when we talk about sourcing in doTERRA, sometimes those things can kind of seem like, why does it really matter where we get our oils from? Why does it really matter that we do all of these tests? I'm not really sure, right? You might be thinking that, but I want to kind of tell you a little bit more about that and just kind of, like I said, build layers to this story. So first of all, when it comes to sourcing, when you think about an essential oil, it really matters what you start with. And doTERRA takes that very seriously. And so in a nutshell, they don't cut corners. And that really matters in the fact that, when you think about an essential oil that's so concentrated, it takes so much plant material to make that one small bottle of oil. It matters what you start with. And so for them to ensure that they have the highest quality plants and that things are done correctly when you're distilling it in such processes as those, you're going to need to be at the source, and you can't cut corners with that. So they really source the hard way, if you might put it that way. They work closely with distillers and the farmers around the world. They travel to those areas. And some of those areas, they're in third world countries that we source from over 40 different countries. And a lot of these countries are very hard to access. And so that takes extra time. It takes extra money. It takes just extra thought in thinking about how we're going to make all these things come together. That kind of goes along with sourcing the hard way. When we're at the source, we just go to great lengths to ensure purity. Even though it's the hard way, working with over 7,000 different producers directly in those communities, we don't just rely on people's words, right? We're right there at the source. A lot of these people that we work with live in the community. doTERRA has worked with and partnered with people that oversee these different activities, and they live right there in those communities, which is really important when you think about building trust and value with these people. Also with testing, we don't just rely on one test, we rely on multiple tests. And that's really important when you think about how much the standards have to be in place. You have to have multiple tests, third-party tests, all of those things in place. Adulteration is a very rampant thing. Adulteration just means that something has been added in to the oil to cut it, or steps have been skipped in that process, and the oil is not pure. And that's going to show up on those tests. So that's really important, and it's a really big deal in the essential oil world. And so that's something that we don't take lightly, and we feel that it's something that will be phased out in the next coming years as people will really start to understand this more and really focus on the purity of the oil that they're using. So in conclusion of the sourcing, we go straight to the source to ensure purity, and we source the hard way. So let's talk about really quick co-impact sourcing. You might have heard that before. Co-impact sourcing is a way that we can help these communities that we partner with in sourcing the oils get the things that they need. So whether that's like running water or food or shelter or a different facility, it just depends on what the needs are. But that initiative is to really help those people in those communities that are sometimes really struggling. Now, the Healing Hands Foundation sort of goes hand in hand with that. It is a foundation that, by definition, seeks to bring hope and healing to the world with tools that are needed to become self-reliant. So a lot of times, Healing Hands Foundation is helping the people in these areas really learn a trade or learn how to use what they have in their native environment to make money to live off of. So that's how they become self-reliant. I wanted to just kind of update you on a few things that were mentioned at convention of new Healing Hands projects. So first of all, doTERRA pays all of the overhead of Healing Hands Foundation, which is really important when you think about where is the money going when you donate to Healing Hands Foundation. And just a side note, if you don't know how to donate to Healing Hands Foundation, you can do that through doTERRA's website. You can just search Healing Hand Foundation on there. Or if you purchase through your doTERRA account online, you can just click to add a certain amount to your order. And that's how I choose to do it. I just add the same amount every month, and it's really easy, and it goes to a great foundation. But all the overhead is paid, so all of your money is going to go directly to the Healing Hands Foundation projects. So they really partner with other humanitarian projects, and they do some by themselves, but a lot of times they partner with other projects in developing countries so they can work with them. Some of the countries that we partner with, Guatemala, Haiti, Brazil, Kenya, Madagascar, Nepal, Bulgaria, and Albania, excuse me. So a lot of these are really desperate countries in need of help to really get themselves out of the position that they're in. And so it's very important that they become self-reliant, and that's part of doTERRA's Healing Hands Foundation mission. So some of the partners that we have in these efforts, excuse me, Days for Girls is one of them, and this helps with women in their care in their cycling times of the month. And it helps them because a lot of times in these countries that can be a really shameful time for women, and they're kind of told to just go away from the village, and there's lots of shame involved in that, and to help them take care of themselves during those times is really important. So that is a great partner that helps us get these little packs that we can make for self-care during those times out to these women. Operation Underground Railroad, that is all about human trafficking. We've been partnered with them for several years now. Mentors International is a partner that we work with that helps people with personal and business mentoring for the poor, to help them with just how to, obviously we're helping them in other ways to earn money, but how do you save that, and how do you grow that and invest that? So that's a great partner that we have now. I think that's a new one that they announced at convention. Pearls for a Purpose helps victims in sex trafficking. It helps them to learn skills to make money. And then Rafa House is actually a place that we've been working with for a while that helps women after they've been in human trafficking and been brought out to really recover and have a safe place to be after that and to regain their livelihood. So we've been working with them for a while as well. So that's a little bit of a background of kind of doTERRA's heart, but also where we're at with helping in the world and really providing the purest quality essential oil that we can. So now, in the healthcare initiative. So I kind of set that up because we know, and we know as in, maybe I'm just speaking for myself. I know because in a pharmacy world, and what I learned in pharmacy, when we're talking about these, the things, the quality standards that have to go into trials and to all the kind of phases that you go through as far as bringing a drug to the market, there has to be consistency. And really with any kind of research project you might have done, maybe I'll just put it in that aspect, you know that you have to have consistency if you're going to test something. You can't test an inconsistent product. It just won't work. So we know we have to have consistency to make all this research possible. So that's why doTERRA is committed to these purity standards, because without that, none of this would be possible to bring this movement forward. So that's kind of why I wanted to set it up with sourcing, because it all starts there and it kind of goes out based on that. So when we think about the pillars that kind of doTERRA is setting up in their medical research model, here are a few that are really going to be foundational in the next coming years. So the Prime Meridian Healthcare Clinics are clinics doTERRA is opening up all across the United States. They have 3 open now with plans to open 20 or 30 in the next 3 to 5 years. And these are clinics that you're going to be able to walk in, see a physician, have, basically it's like self-care from a physician's perspective and with a physician's knowledge. So you'll get way more time with them. It'll be an integrative healthcare approach. Awesome. So that's one pillar. The second is a clinician network. So they're looking to increase their partnerships with doctors and universities and things like that. Institutional relationships is another, and I'll talk a little bit more about the ones that were new that they talked about at convention. And then clinical research. I talked on the class I did on Monday with the new products about some trials that they have already done, that they have their research available for us now. Really exciting things. So those are kind of the pillars in what we think about moving the healthcare initiative forward. The relationships with the medical world are going to be really, really important when you think about an integrative approach, because it's a way to bring two relationships together. There has to be mutual trust, and there has to be a mutual beneficial result, right? And so this is how they're going to bring that forward. And it really starts with those four things. So some of the new partnerships, I kind of mentioned these on Monday, but I kind of want to go into more research, more depth now. So the Huntsman Cancer Institute. This is one of the top ranked cancer hospitals in the country, and we now have a partnership with them. doTERRA will help provide an integrated experience, and it's just going to be something that will grow in the coming years. But they announced that as a partnership and a way to really see how we can help cancer patients thrive. In kind of combination with that, St. Elizabeth's is a hospital in Kentucky that we have a partnership with now. It's a 10-year partnership, and Dr. Doug Flora, who is over that institution in Kentucky, he actually came into the presentation at convention, and he talked about how they're building an entire floor in their cancer center, and it will be called doTERRA Cancer for Integrative Oncology. And it's really a way that they can help to help integrate those products to help make the quality of those patients' lives better, period, right? That's what we want to do. And they'll begin to do clinical trials, which is really exciting. Obviously, we know we need more of those, and to just have clinical trials specifically in oncology, which is such a big issue now, is going to be huge. Basically, they want to help the patients, and they really want to treat the patient, not the disease. I think it's so much ingrained in our mind to just treat the disease, but everybody's different, and so that's kind of how it comes around with the integrative approach. And he actually shared this one quote, which I thought was really awesome. The good physician treats the disease, and the great physician treats the patient who has the disease. So it's just kind of looking at it differently and really going further than just a protocol. Medicine, we're learning, thankfully, is not a one-size-fits-all approach. And when we treat it like that, you can see these things start to happen, and you see where our healthcare has been going and where it's at now. And I think it's because we've taken that approach. And so I'm so excited to see that doctors are finally on board with everybody's not the same. Let's try to look a little bit deeper and see how we can treat the patient, not just the disease. So I'm really excited about that. That was a really big deal this year. Also, another is a partnership with the University of Mississippi and the Natural Product Research Center. This is a center, the FDA Center of Excellence, and it's where a lot of clinical trials are done. And so they're actually the world's leading center for natural product research. So the fact that they came to us and wanted to partner with us, with doTERRA, to really set the gold standard in natural products is absolutely unbelievable to me. I just could not believe it. I mean, what an honor, and what a big deal that they asked us to partner with them to really lead the natural products movement forward, because there really is no gold standard as of right now. And so that was a really exciting partnership that was just announced. Okay, another one is the Intermountain Healthcare in Utah. This partnership is going to look at ways to really collaborate with the integrative primary care. It was interesting, they shared a study that had been done, and Utah has significantly, Utah has significantly lower healthcare spending than all the other U.S. It's actually about half. And so they looked at it and saw if all doctors prescribed the way that the doctors in the Intermountain Care facility do, then the Medicare costs would be 40% less. So that was really interesting to them. doTERRA wanted to partner with them to really move this forward and see if they could help, right, the way that Utah has to all the other United States in the world. So that was another partnership that they announced. Really quick update on Prime Meridian, as I already mentioned, that is doTERRA's healthcare clinics. They're bringing all over the United States first, and then eventually they will be all over the world. It's really a way that they can bring Eastern and Western medicine together, and because they're currently far apart, so they want to bring those closer together to build a new healthcare standard. That's their goal. The goal also is to just decrease prescription use, and so they're going to focus on preventative care. I was actually blessed and honored to be on a panel with 5 other physicians, just discussing preventative care and what a big need there is for it now, and not just always running to the doctor when you're sick, but let's just take preventative measures so that you don't have to visit the doctor as often, that you don't have to take so many prescriptions. I mean, talk about something that is like, seriously, could not have spoke to me more. As a pharmacist, I always wanted that. Nobody's excited to see their pharmacist, and I just see how much of an issue prescription use is. I know there are some, obviously, prescriptions that are very much needed, but for the majority, they are over-abused. And so this is something that I'm excited to see decrease instead of increasing as it has over the last, probably 30 or 40 years, definitely. So that is one of their big missions and visions. So in speaking of doing it the hard way, I wanted to just recap some of the research that had been done and just give you a little bit more detail about what kind of research it was and the different kinds of trials that you'll see starting to come out. None of this research could have been done if we didn't do it the hard way when you think about sourcing. I really need my lavender right now. My nose is about to itch off. I'm going to put some Intune on it because that's what I have here right now, and so hopefully that will help. Okay, so I just wanted to set this up for you and tell you about the different kinds of trials that can be done. So there's different phases. So phase 0 trial is all about consistency. Phase 1 trial is all about dosing and serving size. Phase 2 trial is all about prospective safety, and phase 3 trials are all about efficacy studies. So that's you want to remember that when I talk about the different kinds of trials that they've done. And you guys, this is the exact model that they use whenever they do a study for prescription medication. So these are the exact same guidelines. So if you think about the trials that they're doing, they're exactly the same. So this makes it really important when you think about bringing this information to the medical world, who that's all they know is the trials that they see and the studies that they have on prescription medications. These will be the same. It's not like these are different trials. These are the same trials. So they did a phase 1 trial, which, if you'll remember, is a dosing and serving size trial. And just as a whole, there really hasn't been any phase 2 and phase 3 trials when it comes to essential oils. This is going to be a slow process because it's done correctly. We're not skipping any steps, and that's very important when you think about how this has to be brought about. This wasn't a slow fade into where we are with our healthcare system as it is right now, and it's not going to be a fast exit. It's going to be a slow progression into a hopefully integrative healthcare system and a new healthcare system. So it's going to be a slow phase, which is important, right? It has to be done the right way. So phase 1 clinical trial, they did on lavender, turmeric, and copaiba. And they measured for the blood maximum, minimum, and half-life. That's how they can get the dosing and serving size, is they have to know the half-life. So when you give a certain medication or a certain essential oil or product or whatever, you have to test how long it takes to decrease in your bloodstream by half. And so that's what they did in here, in this trial. And so it can tell you what your dosing would be. So it would be, every 4 or 6 hours, every 8 hours, every day, or whatnot. And so I go kind of into a little bit more detail on Monday's call if you want to go back and look at that. But overall, what they realized is that the turmeric duo cap is 11 times more potent than the turmeric essential oil and anything else basically out there on the market. And so it is great for once a day dosing. They also did a study on copaiba in the same trial, same type of trial. And we found that once a day dosing is great for copaiba. Lavender, with the main constituent being linalool, which makes it very relaxing. Its half-life is 1 hour. So that's interesting when you think about how often you can use lavender during the day. And it just gets out of your body very, very quickly versus some stay in your body longer. As a whole, though, the essential oils in general really can get out of your body very quickly. So you can't necessarily overdose on these, right? If you want to take copaiba twice a day, it's not like it's going to be that big of a deal, but we need these type of studies to really tell us and show us how essential oils work in our body and how we can have dosing guidelines for these. That's what this is setting us up for, which is really, really exciting. Because so many times we're kind of already having our mind, okay, we take this OTC this many times a day, we take this prescription this many times a day. We need dosing recommendations for essential oils. I mean, people have been asking me that for like years, but the thing is, every oil is so different, and you can only give generalized approaches to this. And obviously this will take a while, but I think in the future we will have that, which is exciting. Okay, lastly, the vision of doTERRA and where Healthcare Initiative is going. So I kind of have already alluded to this, but I kind of wanted to give you a stepwise approach as well. So 1, multiple phase clinical trials on essential oils. 2, scientific partnerships with publishing research. 3, prime meridian clinics as clinical trial sites. 4, advanced preventative care philosophy and pathways expanding nationwide. You've already started to see that. And then 5, doTERRA oils in every home. And what I believe is in 2, 3, 4, 5 years, people won't refer to them as essential oils. They'll just refer to them as doTERRA because there won't be any other because of everything that I have just told you. So we shall see. So in conclusion, this movement will take place one drop, one study, one person at a time. It took time to get in the mess that we are in today, and it won't be a quick exit. There's no shortcuts. And I'm super proud to partner with doTERRA because they don't take any shortcuts. They're going to do it the hard way because that's the only way to do it. And what I have come to know is that if you want change in healthcare, it starts with you. You have to start taking care of yourself better and then really have a mission to take that out to other people. And everybody doesn't have that mission, but yet you can impact other people without necessarily teaching a class or doing something or, doing what I do. You don't have to do that. You can impact people by simply living your life a different way. And they see, everybody is watching, right? You might not think anybody's watching what you're doing, but I can promise you they are. And even an impact on one person is a big deal when you think about something this size, right? We're talking about changing healthcare, and it does happen slowly, but it happens when we all take charge of our own healthcare. And I feel like that is where we have to start. And that's where I started. That's where you can start. And if you have it on your heart that you want to take this message out to, tens, hundreds, thousands, millions of people, you can do that too. And that is exactly why I chose to partner with doTERRA and why I knew that, I obviously got these to change my own healthcare. But as I was handing out prescription after prescription after prescription and giving flu shot after flu shot after flu shot, it didn't resonate with me at all. It really never did, to be honest. Deep down, I knew it was a great way to provide for my family financially. I knew I saw a service aspect in there, right? I wanted to help people with their healthcare, but yeah, when I really got in the nitty gritty of it, it never really resonated with me. And when I brought the essential oils into my home, I realized how much they had changed my healthcare. And then I think maybe some scales fell off my eyes, and I thought, why can't this be a great healthcare option for everybody? And that's exactly what has turned into. And all the information that I have went over with, in this past 30 minutes is why it will continue to move forward, slowly but surely. And it can start with you as well. So my encouragement to you is whatever level you want to play at this, right? If you just want to impact yourself and your family, that is awesome. If you want to impact other people in a smaller way, right? You just want to share here and there, that's awesome. If you want to impact on a much larger level, that is really awesome. I would love to partner with you at whatever level you want to impact people's lives at. But don't think for a second that you don't have the ability to impact other people's lives in whatever way you want to, because you completely do. And it doesn't take long to look at the world and realize that our healthcare system needs to change. And this is, to me, it's the way forward. So that is information from convention, from the facts, and from my heart. And so I hope this helps you today realize what an impact this is going to have on our future, and where my place is in this, and what I feel is very important to continue the work that I do. And that's why I started it, and that's why I'll continue it forever. I don't think I'll ever stop sharing this, because this is the way that I live. And so I want to share that with other people, and hopefully it can spark some type of change in you to really realize that you have to start taking care of yourself. We can't look to other people to always tell us what is best for us. I think we know what's best for us, and we have to start taking preventative measures to maybe not rely on the medical system so much, and that's where it starts. We should take care of 80% of our healthcare needs, and the 20% should be left up to the medical world. But it's swapped right now. And so I know that doTERRA plays a very big role in that 80%, and that's why I've chosen to partner with them and really bring this information to you guys day after day after day, month after month, year after year. So anyway, if this has touched your heart, please let me know. I really always want to know and hear from you guys. I'll be over in my messages. If you're on Instagram or Facebook, you can comment below this. I love to create a conversation with you. If you have it on your heart to partner in any way, if you want to take charge of your own healthcare, let me know. I'd love to help you however I can. I hope you guys have a great weekend. I'll see you later.